So on to introductions. Presenting today are those who helped plan this event. And that is Ann Myron from Chilkat Valley Community Foundation, Kim Ryerson from the Seward Community Foundation, Elizabeth Miller, Vice President of Development and Communications at ACF, and my fellow Senior Program Officer, Mariko Serafin. Just a quick overview of today's 5 segments. First are the basics of legacy giving. Next are the benefits of giving to your community foundation. Third are reasons that people give legacy gifts. Fourth is your role in legacy giving and how to do it well. And fifth are next steps in planning for your affiliate community foundation. And now we'll turn it over to Elizabeth to start off the training.
Thanks, Carmen. So I am going to do a quick review of legacy giving as we covered it in the 2 sessions last spring and summer. And this is just to ensure that we're all starting on a level playing field, if you will, but it is going to be rather quick. As we talked about in last year's session on the topic of legacy giving, and sometimes legacy giving is referred to as planned giving, it's an important component of successful fundraising for affiliate community foundation endowments. The most common form of a legacy gift is when a donor leaves a bequest in their will or estate plan to a charity. Over the next 25 years, baby boomers, it is estimated and the research shows, baby boomers will pass along nearly 48 trillion, and that is with a TR, trillion dollars in assets to their heirs and favorite charities. Typically, legacy gift documents are prepared by an estate planning attorney, and oftentimes legacy planning includes financial planners and CPAs. In most cases, the legacy gift is not realized until the death of the donor. However, most often the legacy plans are put together well in advance of that event. There are a variety of vehicles donors can use to leave a legacy gift. The easiest and most popular is a gift to charity in a will or estate plan, where the donor bequeaths an amount or a percentage of assets to a charity or charities. And although that's very popular, another form of legacy giving that is becoming more and more popular is naming the charity as a beneficiary of an individual retirement account or IRA. The asset, the IRA asset is not included in wills. It bypasses probate. And the beneficiary designation then is made via a special beneficiary designation form that's provided by the administrator of the retirement fund. A donor can choose to leave a percentage of the retirement fund to a charity and a percentage to a family member, or the donor can name the charity as a secondary beneficiary in some cases. And so if in that case, if the primary beneficiary dies, if the primary beneficiary, so I'm confusing myself, if the primary beneficiary dies before the fund holder, the charity would benefit. Because of tax implications for heirs, IRAs are a great option for donors who have other assets they can leave to their family members. If a family member inherits an IRA, they pay taxes on those monies. A charity, because we don't pay taxes, of course, won't have to. And so therefore, oftentimes, the better asset is to give to charity all or some of the IRA. There are certainly more complicated types of legacy gifts, including split interest trusts, like charitable remainder trusts or charitable gift annuities. If you have donors that are expressing interest in those types of plan giving vehicles, please direct them to their estate planning attorney and to me. Both ACF and the estate planning attorney will have to be involved. Each giving vehicle has different tax benefits to the donor. However, you as the representative of your affiliate do not need to be an expert on those tax rules and laws. And while it is important for the donor to know the various options and benefits, it isn't your job to educate them on the details. Leave that for the professional advisors, the CPAs, the financial planners, and the estate planning attorneys. However, if you do want to learn more about the specific plan giving vehicles, view the training session 201 on YouTube, where Joe Kukley, estate planning attorney and affiliate advisory board chair from the Golden Heart Community Foundation, describes the specifics of legacy giving vehicles. And you received a link to this YouTube video in the invitation to this training. As we've already discussed, legacy gifts are often well planned. First wills are often created around the time of the birth of the first child, sometimes. Bequests are added or changed, usually around life events. And so including the birth of another child, divorce, marriage, moving, or a death, retirement, or a sale of a business or sale of real estate, or an inheritance or some other windfall. And certainly upon retirement, there's a much greater awareness around retirement funds and their rules and opportunities. Research shows that if a person has at least one charity named in their will, they will have 6 charities named in their will. So when you are talking about legacy giving in your community, you are not benefiting just your affiliate, you probably are benefiting many organizations in your community. The average bequest in the US is $35,000. So while the multi-million-dollar bequests garner media attention, the reality is that bequests are possible for almost everyone. However, research also shows that less than a third of Americans have a will or estate plan. So once again, when you start talking about leaving a legacy gift, you are benefiting those people who don't have wills. This might encourage them to do that, and we all know wills are important. Because many legacy gifts are directed to endowed funds, legacy giving is a key strategy in growing affiliate endowments. There are 2 keys to legacy giving success at your affiliate. We went over these last year, but I'm of course reviewing now. One is an intentional focus on and commitment to legacy giving on behalf of the advisory board. And then the second is that affiliate board members are comfortable talking about first what your local affiliate does for your community now and will do forever, and advisory board members who are conversant in legacy giving. To encourage an intentional focus on legacy giving, in last year's 201, we covered the creating of a plan in quite some detail. If you were unable to participate then, as mentioned, it is available on YouTube. A few affiliates took action after last year's session, and a total of 35 legacy commitments were made to affiliates last year. The Jessica Stevens Community Foundation was one of them. They concentrated on legacy giving last year, actually starting in February. And they recommend don't wait to invest in legacy giving for your affiliate. They say it took them 12 years before they invested energy into this area. And within 1 year, they added 20 new legacy gifts. Most of affiliate legacy donors up to now have been advisory board members or past advisory board members. And this is very natural and good. These are the people that know your organization best. The next step, once you have gone through your advisory board members and past advisory board members, is to approach long-term donors to your affiliate. But first you need affiliate board members who are conversant in what your local community foundation does, and second, who are comfortable talking about legacy giving. And that, of course, is the focus of the rest of our time together. Carmen, are there any questions in the chat box?
Thanks, Elizabeth. Not showing any questions right now. Thank you.
Okay, we will move on. Sorry about that. People give a legacy gift because they're passionate about the cause. To be passionate though about a cause or organization, people need to know about it. And a legacy gift is rarely going to be the first gift a donor makes to your affiliate. So the first step is to ensure that you are connecting people to your affiliate, sharing with them how your affiliate benefits them and your community. So what are the benefits of giving to your affiliate to your donors that community members are going to love and be really passionate about? And notice that I've mentioned benefits, and I very specifically not said what your organization does. Because while the fact that you, for example, have a grant, that you award grants to nonprofits, and that is an important feature for your organization, donors and prospective donors will be much more interested in and motivated by how that grant process benefits their community. So this focus on benefits versus features doesn't have to be daunting. Just think about why you are involved in your affiliate. I suspect it isn't because there's a grant process. The reason you're involved probably has something to do with what those grants do for your community. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the benefits that you might think about and what your prospective donors might think about. The main one is, and they're listed here on this slide, that you meet local needs of the community now and as they change into the future. You also have a local commitment, an advisory board. You make up this advisory board of knowledgeable community leaders and volunteers. You serve as local experts and ambassadors, and this provides assurance to donors that local needs will be met. So assurance to donors is a great benefit. And then there's that immediate and long-term impact. You are committed to the stewardship of assets, ensuring that charitable goals of donors are met now and for generations to come. Privacy is a benefit that some donors are very interested in. The donor decides when and whether they want to be recognized for their gift to your affiliate, or if they want to remain anonymous. the donor can feel secure in knowing that their personal information will not be disclosed. I grew up in a really small town. I grew up in Talkeetna. And I know from that firsthand experience that in small towns, everybody knows everybody's business. But I also know that people don't want their financial business known. And so this privacy is really important for us to highlight and then, of course, to make sure happens. Some donors are very interested in the tax advantages of giving, and you know that the donations to affiliate funds qualify for the maximum available deduction for charity. We are soon going to break into our first small group exercise, and via role play, you will practice talking about the benefits of your affiliate. I encourage you to approach this practice like you're talking to someone you know in your community about why you support your affiliate. So don't get stressed out about benefits versus feature. Just talk from the heart about why you're involved and why you give, and give at least one tangible example of impact of your affiliate. Before we break into groups, Kim Ryerson, Affiliate Board Advisory Board member of Seward Community Foundation, has volunteered to demonstrate the role play with Mariko. Kim and Mariko, take it away.
Okay. Hi, Mariko. How are you?
Hi,
How's
Kim.
your summer been?
It's been good. You seem really busy.
Yeah, I've had a really busy summer. My son and husband and I put the siding on my son's house this summer. So that was a really big project, and we just finished it last night at 9 o'clock. So we're happy about that. I've also been doing a lot of yard work and garden work, and I've also been keeping busy through my work with the Seward Community Foundation.
Oh, the Seward Community Foundation? I've always wanted to ask you about that. Why are you involved?
Well, I got involved back in 2008 when we were first starting up, and the idea was presented to me, and I thought, what a great idea to start a permanent fund for Seward and Moose Pass. And I really loved the idea that your donation that you give to the foundation is never spent, that only the interest from the donation is used for grants. And the fact that the money stays right here in our community, and that it continues to give year after year. So once you make a donation, that donation is always there. And our grants go to local nonprofits. The money stays in our community. And it helps lots of different nonprofits. It's not just designated to a specific nonprofit here in town. So it gives people the opportunity to support the things that they care about in our community. And you can do that by giving donations online or today, and leave a planned gift maybe in your will even. So.
Wow, Kim, I'm so impressed. I want to give you $1 million right now.
That sounds great. Well, that would certainly make a difference in our community. But all of the donations together have made a huge impact in our community. And in fact, this next week, the Seward Community Foundation is hosting a community celebration here in town, and everyone's invited, so I hope you'll come. But it's to celebrate that we have given out over $1 million in grants in the Seward and Moose Pass communities. So we've been able to do a lot of projects, help nonprofits do a lot of projects here in town. And I think maybe the biggest thing that has happened here in the last year and a half, it's been a tough go with COVID and everything that folks have been facing. But fortunately, because of the gifts from our donors, we've been able to divert some of our regular granting dollars to COVID funds and help meet some of those immediate needs that are happening in the community, like the food bank and the senior center with food and transportation, and providing funding to help pay for gas and food and rent and things like that. So it truly does make a big difference, and everyone plays a part in making that happen.
Well, Kim, I will be there next week to celebrate with you, and I'll have $1 million check with me.
That sounds awesome. Well, it's good to see you, and we'll see you next week. And if you have any questions about the Seward Community Foundation, any of our board members would be happy to get together and talk to you about it. You can also find out more information about us. Look us up on the internet, our Facebook page, and you'll be able to take a look at all the different grants that we have made available in the community and what the things that we're working on. So
Excellent.
good to see you.
Good to see you.
Okay. And remember, if you have any questions, just ask.
Thank you, Kim and Mariko. That was great. And now we will break into groups of 3 or 4 for about 10 minutes, and you'll each have a little time to practice talking about the benefits of your affiliate, and then we'll meet back in the full group and look in the chat box for some prompts for that are on this slide that will help you possibly in your role plays. An alert will flash on your screen at 5 minutes, and that's a reminder to switch roles if you haven't already. And you'll also see an alert when there's 1 minute left. You'll have about 10 minutes. So we're ready to go. Thanks, Mariko.
Like everybody's back.
Everybody's back. Okay, well, welcome back. And to debrief from your role playing, let's use the chat box. So type into the chat box one of the benefits of affiliates that was discussed that really resonated with you. And it can certainly be the one that you talked about. And type in one tangible example of the impact of your affiliate. And certainly, if you have questions, please type them into the chat box as well. So as you guys start doing that, I just want to close this section by saying that, really the ability to talk about the benefits of your affiliate is a vital tool in growing your organization. People need to know about your affiliate and see value in what you're doing for the community to feel connected to your organization. And really it's this connectedness that will lead to Here and Now gifts, and then of course to legacy gifts. So getting the word out about your affiliate is imperative for long-term success. And one of the best ways to do that is for Affiliate Advisory Board, to talk about the benefits of your organization, about what you love about your affiliate. And of course, it doesn't have to be difficult, but it does require practice. So I suggest for the mission moment at your board meeting, you consider pairing up and practicing at each board meeting. And so we've got some benefits listed here in the chat box. I see Ann Myron put a tangible example about their emergency fund, emergency response fund in December. Christy Say at Jessica Stevens provides their tangible example. They were able to provide funds to support fire victims. funneling CARES Act fund to the food bank, another great specific example. And then that benefit of giving in perpetuity that Kim mentioned so well. So thanks for that. And you can read through some of those, some more of those. And Carmen, do you see any questions in there?
I'm looking and I do not see any questions.
Okay, so we are going to move on to the next section. And sorry, I'm clicking too quickly. The reason people leave legacy gifts, as we talked about, includes a passion for the cause. It also might include a desire to leave a legacy of their values and or an interest in recognition beyond their lifetime, perhaps into perpetuity. A recent report from Stetler and Giving Docs, two companies that are really focused on donor research to better understand donor mindsets and motivations. Their report highlights 3 donor outlooks that are important to keep in mind when we're working with potential legacy donors. And the first outlook that we're going to look at is the donor outlook that is, I'm motivated to give to work that I feel is important and that I feel connected to. It's important to understand that in the mind of your donors, your organization is not the entity with needs. The people you serve are the ones who have needs, and meeting those people's needs is what delivers emotional satisfaction to your donors. And some of you mentioned the impact that your affiliate makes in your community in your comments in the chat box as benefits and tangible examples. You know, some of you mentioned, I read Christy C's note about helping people who have helping fire victims. You know, and those are the types of people, examples of the types of people in your community who are helped. Those are the important things to mention to some donors. Giving is fundamentally an emotionally driven choice, and it can be egotistic. And of course, that means, you know, how does this giving of this gift benefit me? Or it can be altruistic. How does this gift benefit others? Oftentimes, it is a combination of both. Wanting to leave a legacy is at its very heart an emotional desire that really can serve as a satisfying final chapter to a person's life. Your affiliate can facilitate making this decision in a really emotionally supportive way, making the experience much more satisfying to the donor. And you can do this by finding emotionally accessible examples of important needs your affiliate meets in your community. And to get these examples, ask yourself, what good is your organization doing? Or who are you helping? What are the tangible causes you are supporting? This should sound super familiar, as this is what we covered in the benefits role and in the benefits role play that you just did. The second popular donor outlook that the report details is, I donate to organizations that I believe will achieve the impact I want to make. This outlook drives a donor's decision on which nonprofits to support, assuming the donor has already decided they want to leave a legacy and are now looking for the right organization to make the impact that they desire. So how can your affiliate stand out as the one that will further their cause? Well, the top motivations for donors to leave a legacy gift is the cause is personally important to the donor, and they believe that the nonprofit is making significant impact. When asked to rank the top factors for choosing which organization would receive the largest legacy gift, this is aside from mission, the following factors rank the highest. The organization has a track record for success, and the donor expects the organization to be around for a long time. All four of these factors, which can really be summarized as importance, impact, success, and longevity, tell us how critical it is to donors that their contribution will make a significant and lasting difference in their community. When you're talking to community members about legacy giving, connect them, connect the donor's values, connect to the donor's values, talk about impact, and highlight the longevity of community foundations. This means you will be asking questions about what the donor values, and then connecting where possible the benefits of your affiliate to those values. However, I do have to comment here that the benefits of affiliates will not match the values of all donors. And our goal, though, is to find those donors where there is a match. Does that make sense? I see some heads nodding. Okay. Other people like me make choices like this is the other donor outlook that we'll explore. People are influenced by the actions of others and what they think others expect. When donors believe that others like them are acting in a certain way, they are more likely to act the same way. One research experiment examining outright gifts, not legacy gifts, indicated that highlighting descriptive social norms localized to a donor's environment, for example, this is what a lot of people in our community are doing, could double the number of donors and size of donations compared to an altruistic appeal alone. Sharing stories of donors who have made legacy gifts can also inspire prospects into action. In a 2016 study, researchers found that individuals were more interested in making legacy gifts after being exposed to stories of others who had done so. And stories of living donors were consistently more effective than stories of deceased donors. When it comes to planned giving, it's important to communicate to your donor base that it is normal and even expected to leave a legacy gift. Your donors need to feel confident that people like them leave legacy gifts. And you can achieve this in the phrasing that you use. You can say things like, you know, it's perfectly normal to leave a legacy gift. People exactly like you and me do it every day. You can spotlight legacy donors to show people like them are choosing to leave your affiliate in their wills and estate plans. And with permission, of course, you can use donor photos and quotes. Pictures make the social norms more evident, and especially if the person featured in the picture looks relatable to that donor. Dr. Russell James is an estate planning attorney out of Texas who does a lot of research. And he has discovered through his research that these words are most successful when talking about legacy giving. Many people like to leave a gift to charity in wills to support causes that have been important in their lives. And that's why this phrase is underlined on your screen. In his research, he found that the wording, a gift to charity in your will, generated greater interest in terms than terms like bequest, leave a legacy, or remember your favorite charities. we're going to continue to call this body of work legacy giving at ACF. However, when you're talking to people one-on-one and in your publications, you may be more successful if you refer to it as leaving a gift to charity in your will to support causes that have been important in your life. Excuse me. There is a variation on this message that has also tested very positively, and it's many people report legacy giving to be one of the most impactful expressions of their values in their lifetime. These are general outlooks to keep in mind. However, before you meet with someone to share with them the opportunity of leaving a legacy, please do your research. If you don't know the person you're going to be meeting with well, at a minimum, Google them to see if you can determine what causes besides your affiliate they're interested in. Carmen, are there any questions in the chat box?
Still no questions, but maybe we can pause a second if somebody has a question they just want to ask and not type.
Okay. Are there any questions?
Elizabeth, can you just repeat, you said something beautiful. It was an impactful expression of something. I didn't catch it all. Just a few minutes ago, that leaving a gift in a will was one of the most impactful expressions of what?
Of their life. Yeah, where was that? Let me tell you this. We have put all these quotes in a document that we're going to give you access to.
Oh, great, thanks.
Okay, so it'll be in there.
And then also, Kim Ryerson just asked if you can get a copy of the notes. So we've answered that one. Thanks. And Mariko has just put a link actually that you will have access. Everybody will have access to all of the materials from today's session, and as well as additional resources. And we'll be sending that out in our follow-up email as well. So.
Okay, hearing or seeing no more questions, we will move on. And yes, we're going quickly. We have a lot to cover. This next section is about your role in legacy giving. And everyone has a role to play in legacy giving. There are estate planning professionals, they're the experts, they know the details, they know the laws, they play an essential role in legacy gifts. There are professional fundraisers like myself, and we tend to, be the connector between estate planning professionals and donors, and helping to ensure that donor intent is documented well. And of course, your advisory board members have the role in legacy giving to ensure that there's a plan in place so that legacy giving at your organization is very intentional. And as an individual advisory board members, I like to say that you have 4 roles, and some of you take more than one role. You can promote your affiliate, make your own legacy gift, listen and connect, and promote the opportunity of leaving a legacy. As an advisory board member, you personally are an ambassador, and I know that's no surprise, of your affiliate, just by sharing information about what your affiliate is doing. We practice this, and remember, you'll be much more successful if you don't just talk about what your affiliate is doing, but that you talk about and highlight the benefits to the donor and the community. And when I talk about this, I'm not thinking that you are all going to out and do presentations at local Lions clubs or Rotary clubs. I'm thinking and talking about just in your everyday conversations with people that you interact with. And those conversations could start with, hey, did I tell you the grant application process is open for the affiliate? And notice I am starting with a feature, but this could lead to questions from that community member. Oh, grant? What for? Or like Marco said in the role play, I've been meaning to ask you, what is an affiliate? Or maybe when someone asks, how are you doing today? You could answer with, I feel so good today. The affiliate just awarded 7 grants to local nonprofits, making our community a better place. And if you can be more specific about some of the benefits of those grants, you will be even in better space. And you can continue with, and because we have an endowment, we'll be able to continue to meet local community needs far into the future. To be most successful in promoting legacy giving, make your own legacy commitment first. You really don't know how the process works, or especially how it feels, until you've been there on your own. And you'll just have so much more understanding of the donor's thought process, and probably some stories and some mutual frustrations that you can share. And then instead of saying, people just like you have made legacy commitments to our local community foundation, you can say, I have made a legacy commitment, and I tell you it was actually fairly simple, and I feel so good about it. And notice as I go through these examples, there is no mention of a dollar figure or even how you did it. But a natural follow-up question might be, oh, how did you do it? Or what is a legacy gift? And you could then follow up with a description of how you made your legacy gift. I added the affiliate as a beneficiary in my IRA. Would you consider doing something like that? Or leaving a gift to charity in your will? So think about that. Often people who are leaving a legacy gift or thinking about it, often think it's only for the mega wealthy. But really, for many people who don't have a lot of cash assets, a legacy gift is an option to leave a meaningful gift to their favorite cause or charity. There really is a role for all advisory board members, whether you're comfortable making the ask or if you just like listening to people and making connections for them. As you chat with people in your community, listen for clues about legacy giving. You might hear something like, I've been thinking about what my legacy will be to this community, or I don't want to leave it all to my kids, or I'm working on my will, or maybe I'm meeting with my estate planning attorney next week. Or maybe even, I've included the affiliate in my will. We know there are many people who have legacy plans, including your affiliates and ACF, that we don't know about. So it's very possible you would hear something like that. We're going to practice on following up on these clues in a few minutes. But if you are comfortable in following up with the person making the statement about legacy giving, please do so. However, if you are not comfortable following up personally when you hear a legacy giving clue, you must be a connector. And what I mean by that is you must connect that potential legacy donor to one of your fellow advisory board members who is ready to talk about legacy giving. And you could say something like, one of my fellow board members, Sally Jones, knows a lot more about legacy gifts than me. Would it be okay with you if I asked her to follow up to share how our affiliate might help you in your next stages of legacy planning? When we are done with this session today, I hope many of you will feel confident to share the opportunity of leaving a legacy with others in your community. And it is okay to start with your fellow board members and past board members. And as you share, remember you really are providing this great opportunity to not only leave a legacy, but maybe actually create a will that they've been needing to do for quite some time. And remember, you want to be talking to first current board members and past board members, and then longtime regular givers to your affiliate. And what you can say to start the conversation could be, if you've done your own legacy gift, you could say, I recently redid my will and added a bequest to the affiliate. It was so easy, and I feel so good that I'm leaving a legacy for this community that I love. And that got me thinking that maybe other board members or former board members or community members, whoever you're talking with, might be interested in doing the same. Or you could start with, if you're talking to a longtime giver, your longtime annual support of the Affiliate Community Foundation is so very much appreciated. Have you ever considered leaving a bequest in your will to the affiliate that could support the community far into the future? Or you can go back to what Russell James said, and that many people like to leave a gift to charity in wills to support causes that have been important in their lives. Have you thought about what you want your legacy to be for our community? And who are your founding board members? You could open a conversation with them about legacy giving with, as one of our founding board members, we'd love for you to consider making a legacy gift to the affiliate. And if the person expresses an interest in legacy giving, ask them for a next meeting, or if you can, have someone else follow up with them to share more information with them. And eventually your goal, of course, is to provide that declaration of intent form to them to complete. And remember, privacy may be very important to them. So if the donor expresses some concern about privacy, make sure they know that no one in your community needs to know about the value of their legacy gift. The donor can send that donor intent form directly to ACF, and only 1 or 2 folks here will know about it, and we can track it, and your affiliate will get credit towards the match. So we are going to soon break into one more round of role-playing small groups and practice talking about legacy giving. Whether you will be a connector or a promoter, you'll have an opportunity to practice. But before we break into groups, Will Peterson from the Jessica Stevens Community Foundation will demonstrate this in a role play with Carmen. And Will is taking on the role as the chair of a community foundation advisory board, and Carmen is a longtime donor to that community foundation. Will and Carmen.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Hello, Carmen. I want to thank you for taking the time, for a few minutes of your time, to have this discussion. We haven't seen each other in a while. How's your summer been?
Pretty good. Will, it was good to see you too. It's was a wet one this year, and we managed to get a few fish up, so we've got something in the freezer for this winter. But overall, we're our health is good, and our grandchildren are good, and so can't complain too much. Pretty happy.
We just have a few minutes here, and I hope that we can have a follow-up conversation, because I think we should get into this a little bit further. But I wanted to catch you up on some of the things that the foundation has been up to. In the past, you've expressed interest. I know you're a former teacher, and I know you have passion for education and also for women's rights. Almost every year, we've been providing grants to for education, particularly at the elementary level, and there's a fund in our community that helps families and women in crisis, and we continue to fund them. And this year, there was this really interesting thing that happened with the elementary school. They partnered with the Denali Arts Council and put in a grant together a larger grant than we usually see requested. I don't think we funded the whole thing, but just the idea that these two organizations are promoting art together. They couldn't have done it by themselves. It's just a real good partnership they've got going, and we thought we should fund that. You might have heard us say this in the past, but the foundation, the board members, we're firm believers in the idea that great communities don't happen by chance. And we support many organizations that work to make this a great community. That's the only way it can be a great community, by so many people. And so we're able to do that to help those great communities because of people just like you who have provided gifts every year without much fanfare. But we've been doing this for now 13 years, and our endowment continues to grow, and the revenue that's produced will support nonprofits way into the future. And your annual gift each year, every year, has helped make that happen, help that endowment grow. But besides
Well, just I just want to thank you guys. Your foundation, you know, I've learned to trust your foundation over the years. And that's why I keep giving every year, because I see what, you keep me informed of some of those grants that you make. And yes, I am passionate about place-based education, and I am passionate about women. And I'm very grateful because as a busy working person, I don't have the time to know who needs help. And so I'm appreciative that the foundation keeps track of that. And again, I trust you.
Well, I'm glad you trust us. Our next big idea, our foundation has been, again, at this for 12, 13 years now. But just in the last year or so, we've taken on this new strategy. As you know, we're an affiliate of the Alaska Community Foundation and work under their policies, and they manage our endowment to make sure that that money's doing well. But we're asking some of our donors to think about something more than just that annual gift. And that question really is, what is your legacy? What do you want this community to be now, but also what do you want it to be in the future? And so we're asking people to consider a legacy gift down the road. I know we all want to take care of our families with whatever resources we have. But after that, what do you want this community to be long after you're gone? So Carmen, we're just starting this conversation. We'll ask you to consider that. We're of the age, and this pandemic has made all of us think about things a little bit differently. So I'd ask you to consider a legacy gift in the future. And it can be very simple as just designating something in your will. Or if you have an IRA, you can list this as a beneficiary. I can also tell you there are so many different complicated ways of doing this, way over my head, and probably way over the head of most of the other advisory board members. But ACF has all the resources we need to help you if you consider something like this. So perhaps we'll have more time to talk about this further. Feel free to call me anytime and we can talk about it more, but I hope you consider this.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you talking with me about that. I really do. And I would love to, I would entertain an additional conversation on this. So thank you.
Thanks, Carmen. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Will and Carmen. Very well done. And so now we're going to break into groups of 3 or 4, again, for about 10 minutes. These are both of these groups have been random groups, so you might get with some of the people that you were with before and maybe not. You should each have a couple minutes to practice. We hope that each of you will have at least one opportunity to be the affiliate advisory board member, and you'll take turns being the potential donor. You'll see suggested scenarios to get you started in the chat box. And keep in mind what you learned in the first breakout session and what we discussed about donor outlooks and motivation. An alert will again flash on the screen about 5 minutes to tell you when you're halfway done. And you'll also see an alert at 1 minute left. Okay, Marco, I think we're ready to go into small groups again. Welcome back. As a quick debrief, we want you to use the chat box again and tell us if there was something that you learned. Was there something that was easier than you thought it would be? Something that was more difficult? And if you have any questions, now would be a time to put them in the chat box too. And as you're doing that, we'll just mention that one thing that you may have been thinking about is how do you create a sense of urgency with people about doing their will? It seems like it's often something that they're very happy to put off. I was talking to an estate planning attorney this morning, and she said you'd be surprised at how many people come into her office and apologize. Oh, I should have been here years ago. So they have great guilt about not doing it sooner. But if you can create a sense of urgency, maybe by mentioning if they do it in this year, they might help you qualify for matching dollars. That might be a way to do that. And so I'm seeing some of the, you're having, let's see, good suggestions from our group about what to do if you find out someone already has made a legacy gift. Excellent. That's great, because if they've made it and you don't know about it, you want to get that documented. And Kristen Carpenter says she loved that thought. Have you thought about what you want your legacy to the community to be? And I think you heard Will use that in the role play. And Gail from Cordova says she's going to use Jessica Stevens Community Foundation as an example. 100% of present and past board members have made legacy gifts. It is very impressive and motivating. So Carmen, do you see any questions?
I am not seeing any questions. We could, if anyone wants to take their pause button off real quick, they could do that.
And while we're waiting for that, Maureen, thank you for mentioning freewill.com. ACF is not officially going to recommend that, but I do know some people have had success, including Maureen, in using that, that platform. So Maureen, thanks for mentioning that. Any questions that anybody wants to ask?
I have a question. I'm sorry, I couldn't find my raise your hand.
Oh, that's
button.
okay.
But this is a strange question. Say you're talking with someone about a friend. You have a friend over and they're working on their will and I'm working on my will and they have questions. Is it inappropriate to say, oh, if you're interested and you want to know more about legacy giving or something related to that aspect, that we say we have experts? I mean, is that like a little hook in, or is that something you don't want to do, or you want to shy away from, or would you just simply start talking about giving a gift to your affiliate?
Definitely, start talking about the possibility of giving a gift in your will to your affiliate. I want to be very careful and make sure that when you can certainly mention that there are people at ACF that know more about legacy giving,
yeah,
and we're happy to help, but we are not estate planning attorneys. And so, estate planning attorneys definitely have a role in some of this. If they have a very simple will, they could do platforms like freewill.com. And you can certainly refer people to us, but we are not the financial and estate planning professionals. Does that make sense, Amy? Okay, good. Other questions? Okay, well, I have one more slide before I turn it over to Anne, and I'll make this quick. We do hope that you will invite board members, past board members, and longtime donors to the will and estate planning seminar that we are hosting with Alaska Public Media on September 30th, 4 to 5:30 p.m. via Zoom. Estate planning attorney Chelsea Ricola of Foley and Pearson will be presenting, and just basic information about how to get started in doing estate planning. This is a great event to invite people to with whom you have wanted to have a legacy conversation, so that after the event, you can follow up with them, whether they attend or not. If they attended, you can start the conversation with, oh, what did you find most helpful? And you can, this can lead into a conversation about the a possible gift to your affiliate, or just learning more about what they're hoping to do. Or if they didn't attend, you might learn that they didn't attend because they already have a will in place. And you could follow that up with, oh, does your will include a gift to charity to the affiliate? So we hope that you'll invite folks. We will be sending out a form of the invitation that you can forward to people. And with that, I am going to turn it over to Anne Myron from Chilkat Valley Community Foundation. Before I do that, I do want to recognize that we have run a little late, and if you can't stay for another 15 or 20 minutes, we will understand it, but we do have some great information to share, and we'll do one more breakout room to help put this information into a way that you can do something with it when you get back to your affiliate. And with that, I will share this with Anne. Anne?
Hi, everybody. And I think we've heard a lot of great information today. And now this last little section is gives us an opportunity for each of us to think about what we can individually do as an individual affiliate board member, and also how we can help our affiliate board make a plan for legacy giving. And the experience that we've had at Chilkat Valley, it's important to remember that it is a process and that it starts with baby steps. And I think even we now have a number of legacy donors, but we're still taking baby steps to move ourselves forward. So I think we can't expect great strides necessarily all the time, but both your personal plan and the plan for the board, however you decide to do planning, they have to be realistic. It has to be something that you can do and that you're comfortable with and that your board is comfortable with. And you have to be proactive. You can't just think it's going to happen and hope it's going to happen, but you really do have to put yourself out there to make some things happen. So I encourage you to consider how you personally and also how your board can do that. At CVCF, we've usually just included legacy giving in our strategic plan with a few activities that would happen each year. And also our donor development committee is very active in furthering what those activities are and trying to help out on that. So you have to think about how it's going to orchestrate in your organization. It took us a lot of years of just having legacy planning on our board agendas and on our committee agendas to talk about it ourselves and to become familiar with it. And one of the things we did early on was to spend a lot of time talking about it. And also that helped us create a brochure. So now we have a brochure that we can use with donors and use in mailings. And that's been pretty helpful. And also we right away, like back in 2008 or 2009, we had a lawyer come and speak to the community in a community program and talk about wills and estate planning. And we have done that almost every year since. And these lawyers and financial planners do this pro bono. And it has been a great way to introduce it into the community and get people comfortable talking about it with their family and friends. And that also helps us as affiliate board members and other nonprofit board members when they want to go talk to potential donors about legacy giving, because we've kind of taken this, I think in our community in a lot of ways, that uncomfortableness about talking with it or approaching that's kind of gone away because there's just been so many programs on it. People are used to seeing it out there. And so I think that's another, anything you can do to make it kind of the normal thing that people talk about, or a comfortable thing for people to talk about. As Elizabeth mentioned, you know, it's likely that your first gifts are going to come from your board members and past board members, and ours certainly did. And so ever since then, we have started to highlight those donors. And one of Elizabeth's slides said, other people like me make choices like this. And I think that really is true. And we recently, we highlight donors we have 2 newsletters, a summer newsletter and an end of year newsletter. And we try to highlight legacy donors in each of those. And then now for 2 years, we've decided that we're going to send out an annual mailing to potential legacy donors. And since we've got LGL now, the little green light donor database, we can search for long-term donors and print out a list of those donors. And then we go through it and analyze and decide which ones do we think might be receptive to a mailing about legacy becoming a legacy donor. And part of that mailing is a 1-sheet highlight of new legacy donors. And we're really finding, I think, that is effective. People see that other people like them are doing that. And this summer, we were contacted unexpectedly by a retired teacher who wanted to leave a gift to the Chula Valley Community Foundation's Art Just Scholarship Fund. And so we worked through that with her, and Elizabeth helped us, and we got all the paperwork in place. And then when I contacted her to say thank you, I also asked her if she would be willing to send a photo and a paragraph that we could use in next year's letter for the legacy mailing. And I was really surprised when she said, oh, of course, I would love to do that, because I really expected this person to say no way. But she said, yes, I would love to do that. And those donor highlights are what convinced me that I should take this action now and get my legacy in place. And she talked about some of the donors that she'd read about in that. So it was really effective. And here was a person who I really thought would say, no, she didn't want to share that, very willing to do that. So that was really great and exciting. And I think some other things that we've learned and that I wanted to share is, one thing is you need to be able to track. You need to figure out a system of how you're going to track your legacy donors, because at first you just have 1 or 2 and that's easy. But then as that list grows, so we've created a little spreadsheet that we keep on Google Docs, and it has the donor and their contact information, when they signed the declaration of intent form, any information we have about their gift, if it's in their will or if it's an IRA designation or how much, and then if they've talked to us and we have some notes that we think are important, we add that too. And so then that list becomes the list also that we realize that we need to really steward these donors and make sure that we're taking care of them, because a gift in a will or a bequest through an IRA, they can go away. And if you don't keep your connection with these people that are being this generous, you could lose them. And I personally know that because a couple of decades ago, I left a gift in my will to an organization I was closely tied to and that I firmly believed in. And over time, their donor stewardship just disappeared. And there was no communication. There was nothing coming to me to tell me about that organization, even though I could see it was doing good things. And I finally got a thank you note for a gift I gave that was so impersonal that I took them out of my will. I was just furious. It was just like, this is so bad. I have since put them back in because I realize I think what they're doing is great. And if they don't have good donor stewardship, I shouldn't not support the cause I care about. But it is really important because we can lose donors if we don't take care of them and steward them. So think about how you're going to do that. We created a little bookmark that we give out to anyone that signs a donor declaration of intent form. We have that list, so it's easy to call them and just make a little contact with a casual conversation, make sure they get included in events, and try to highlight them. So I think it's just really important to remember that we need to really take care of those donors because they can help us spread the story and become advocates for their friends and family to become donors as well. And so I think you're gonna now get to, Elizabeth is gonna tell us, but I just want you to think about what's the goal for yourself and for your affiliate, and how could that look with your affiliate, and make it realistic and figure out how you can be proactive to keep the energy going.
And can I add one thing? This is Nina, about the state system just got hacked. And so cybersecurity is a bigger issue for the Community Foundation, but for all of you affiliates. So when you mentioned that you're keeping this document on Google Drives, just make sure that you're really being thoughtful about protecting it, because it does have some very sensitive information that if shared or into the wrong hands would be detrimental to probably a lot of what the donors would want other people to know.
Thanks, Nina. Kim, do you want to share a little bit about what Seward has done?
Sure. I think that legacy gifts are where the largest portion of your endowment will come from. And so even though you don't know what the future it will bring gifts to you. I think there's some important ways that we can get our legacy giving on track. And I think one of the first things is that all board members should be participating in these trainings and whatever other trainings that are available to your board. Everybody will play a different role in legacy giving. And so find out what role works for each one of them. The more that you know, the more you can share with others. One of the first things after the second training that we had that our board did was to create a legacy giving plan. And ACF did an excellent job in providing that information and in providing a template to do that. So if you haven't done that, get to it. It will definitely help you visualize the steps that you should be taking to receive and share that information on legacy giving. You should probably have a legacy giving page on your website. And we created a legacy packet that has all kinds of, well, you can't see it, that has all kinds of information in it. We too have a printed brochure on legacy giving. We have a rack card on legacy giving. And so have that information, some of them actual in physical form, because a lot of times the audience that you might be focusing on are not computer savvy. And so having a paper copy, while some folks don't care for that, is definitely, I think, important to do. You should also have that information accessible on your legacy giving page. And then also when you get your plan developed by your board, then you can start identifying your different legacy donors, your current advisors, past advisors, your recurring donors, aged and long-term community members, your local professional advisors who can share this information with their clients. And as been mentioned earlier, just listening to others and catching clues in conversations about wills or thinking of giving up a gift. And include legacy giving in your communications. in newsletters, on Facebook, on your webpage, at events. And as Anne mentioned, doing educational seminars in your community. We've done 3 or 4 of those in Seward. And making contact with different people. We recently sent out personalized letters and information to our 21 past board advisors, and asking if any of them would be willing to complete a declaration of intent form, because I can't imagine that there aren't a number of those folks who don't have the foundation in their planned giving. So.
Thank you, Kim. And I think Marco just listed in the chat box that legacy plan template that Kim referred to, and we actually referred to early on this evening, there's a link to that in the chat box, so you can pull that up if you haven't seen that or don't know where it is. And so we do want to break out into small groups one more time. No role playing here, just some planning. And we're going to put you with the other members from your group and members from another affiliate as well, and hoping that you can do some planning and that there'll be some synergy with representatives of 2 communities there. Again, you'll have about 10 minutes to rough out a plan, and we'll send you an alert at 5 minutes and another alert at 1 minute, and we'll see you back here in 10. Marco?
Sorry, I need just another minute, y'all, but I'll get you there very quickly, okay?
We have a question.
Oh, great.
Yep, there's a
Good.
question.
Perfect.
Is September 30 training by Zoom? The
Yes.
Wilson Estate. You want to talk a little bit about that for a minute?
Yes, so that will be via Zoom. We expect quite a large crowd. It is statewide, and with Alaska Public Media and ACF co-sponsoring, we think there'll be a lot of people from all over the state. And as I said, Chelsea Ricola will be presenting. So it is via Zoom. We'll be sending an invitation that to the program managers that can be forwarded out then to anybody that you want to invite to that event.
Okay, great. And I'm going to put the prompts in the chat here, and go have fun, everyone.
Welcome back. I hope you've got some great ideas for taking the next step in legacy giving at your affiliates. I know we are really over, and I do apologize for that, but I hope you got some really great information. Are there any burning questions that you want to ask before we close? Okay.
Yeah, there's a question.
Oh.
And it's actually Marco. Do you have any idea? The breakout rooms aren't being recorded, right? Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately not.
Okay.
Oh, well, thank you all for participating in this tonight. You know that increasing the numbers of donors who make a planned gift, even by a small margin, can really profoundly shape your nonprofit's future. So thank you so much for the work that you're doing to grow legacy giving at your affiliate. And thanks for participating tonight. We do have evaluations of tonight's session that will be emailed to you. We really encourage you to complete the evaluation, because your responses really do help us to make future trainings better. So any last comments? And if not, we will say good night and thank you very much for hanging in there with us. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.